Okay, today we're going to use our Hunter tire machine. That's a GSP9200. It's super awesome, and we'll just get into the basics today. This is our interface. This is not a touch screen. There are buttons on the bottom. K1 through 4 tells us what we can and can't do. On the bottom of the machine there's a foot pedal. That's another input. It's like the enter button. Over here we have some cones. The cones fit inside the wheel. We have different size cones for different size wheels. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the right size cone. Take it over here and we're just going to put it in the middle, the hub, make sure that we have protrusion on the inside and the outside. If we don't, it can make your job really hard to get this to line up right. Looks like that's going to work for us. The cone goes on the arbor first against our sensor plate. Then we can go ahead and put our tire on. When we put the tires on, some tires can be really heavy. We want to make sure that we lift with our legs and not our backs. So rolled over here. If you need to even use your knee to help support the tire, that's better than hurting your back. So we'll lift it up, slide it on. We need something for this to clamp against, so there's a couple other parts that we're going to get. First thing, we're going to find a cone. We have two different sizes of cones. We have a big one and a small one. The bigger ones are generally for your light-duty trucks. Your smaller ones are generally for your smaller vehicles. I believe this one is what we're going to use today. We have our wing nut. This wing nut squishes all of it together so it sits on the machine nice and true. Okay, when it's nice and snug, we're going to go ahead and give the tire a spin with our hands just to make sure that it's running nice and straight. If it's wavy, we're going to go ahead and take this back off and reassess why it's that way. That looks pretty good to us. Okay, now that we have our tire on our balancer, we're going to get ready to balance it. But before we do, we have to hit the kfor button on the display to hit balance. It's going to take us to another screen. It's our balancing screen. But in the bottom left corner, it says set dimensions. Well, there's a bunch of question marks there, so we better hit the K1 button and set ourselves some dimensions. Our dimension entry screen tells us that we need to do this one first, and we're going to take our sensor bar and pull it out. There's an illustration telling us where to put the sensor bar. Once it's in position, we're going to hit the foot pedal, and the foot pedal acts as an enter button to enter in this dimension. When we're done with that, we're going to take the outside sensor arm and put it where the illustration tells us. Press our foot pedal to enter the information in. Pull it back up. It's going to bring us back to the balance screen. The balance screen is changed in the bottom left-hand corner. There are no question marks. We have actual dimensions. You'll need to remember those. It's 204, 6, and 15. So that means it's a 15-inch rim. It's 6 inches wide, and the offset is about 204 millimeters. Once we're here, we're ready to pull down the arm and make sure to see how much weight we need to put into the tire. When we pull the cover down, make sure to keep your hands and feet out of the ride at all times. Okay. The machine says that we need to add 0.75 ounces to the inside of the wheel and 0.5 ounces to the outside of the wheel. You notice one side's green, one side's yellow. When we have the green arrow, that's where the wheel needs to be to put the weight at the top of the wheel. If we want to spin the tire, the machine is smart enough to put it back in the green arrow spot. If you don't like that feature, you can hit the foot pedal and spin the tire all day long. So we're going to line it up to a green arrow. Find a 0.75 ounce weight. Use the hammer and put it on. Make sure that when you use the hammer not to hit your finger. A good way of not hitting your finger is to put your finger on the bottom of the weight, because you'll be hitting the top of the weight to put it on the wheel. So we're going to take the center line of the arbor, pull it straight up to the rim of the wheel. Make sure your finger's on the bottom of the weight and pound it on. Then we're going to move it to the next green arrow. We're going to find a 0.05 weight and do the same thing on the outside. We're going to take the center line of the arbor, pull it to the top of the wheel, and make sure that our finger's on the bottom of the weight when we pound it on. Once we've done what the machine has asked, we're going to lower the bar back down and make sure we keep our hands and feet out of the ride at all times. Just going to recheck the balance. Awesome. We have 2 green OK signs, so we're ready to take this tire off and go on to the next one.